bright face. What a wonderful sleep. The soul Om Nilambuja Shyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panavu Maha Sayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Om. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He's carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Ramcharitmanas, Ayodhya Kanda. And Doha number is 38. It's a very suspenseful stage of the story. And that's firstly the picture of Kopa Bhavan, a house of well designed for sulky experience. Kaikeyi is there in that part of royal apartment, Kopa Bhavan. And she has already expressed her two boons. And King Dasharatha has been hit hard, like his heart has been injured by two arrows coming out of the uncontrolled tongue of Kaikeyi. All the descriptions that come, they are pictures painted through a mass mentality. Mass mentality views every tragic development in life, views it in a tragic way. And sometimes certain developments are thoughtful development. But instead of being thoughtful, masses stay thoughtless. Any thoughtful movement to the mass mind seems like a negative movement. That's the picture that is highlighted in this section. In other words, you will not hear any good thing about Kaikeyi. And Kaikeyi movement is Vichar movement. Everything was joyous in Ayodhya. But at a wrong time, wrong occasion, because Bharata was not there, Rama had not accomplished the goal of his life. He has not removed ignorance. Rejoicing emperorship is just like you were told about the spiritual goal of life, and you hear all this one Vedanta talk, and then you sit back and come and start celebrating. I'm going to become Brahman. And all near and dear ones join with you. It's a good idea. Celebrate. But one mature person enters into that company and says, you have just heard about this is your goal. Stop that celebration. Do your sadhana. Let's put it in a very simple way. That's the predicament. Let Rama go into forest, which implies let spiritual movement be profoundly involved in higher limbs of yoga, which means practice concentration, meditation, samadhi, and all that requires basis of abhyasa and vairagya, all that brought into Rama's movement. And in that project, Rama must secure viveka buddhi. The soul within you must join with intuitive intellect. So while this movement goes on, the foundational level, which is Ayodhya, must be sustained by bhakti, bharata. So these two fingers are to secure your spiritual attainment by giving proper role for bhakti and jnana. And bhakti is always associated with karma yoga, karma that removes impurities. As impurities move, love for God shines brighter and brighter. And jnana, that's Rama jnana, intuitive revelation, sustained by Lakshmana. Lakshmana is that dhyana movement, mind that goes into deep meditation and samadhi, controls distractions, vikshepa. Thereby, all good virtues begin to shine. Lakshanas, all characteristics, therefore he is known as Lakshmana. So with that setting, let me go on with the story and enjoy the pathetic description. Soch vikala vivarana mahi pareu, manahu kabala moola parihareu. King is overcome by grief, by sorrow. The coloring of his face has become discolored. He is lying on the floor, just like someone had taken the lotus from its root and thrown it right there. Now the lotus, instead of blossoming, is withering. It's learned literature, you see. And at this stage, Sumant is there who has come to know why is it that king did not come out. Early dawn, all are celebrating, and from the king himself, there is no news. Sumantra has come to find the cause. And that is what Sumantra sees. Sumantra is the King Dasharatha's minister. That minister Sumantra is shocked, fearful, is unable to ask. And at this stage, Kaikeyi, who is full of inauspiciousness, void of anything good, that Kaikeyi spoke out. Anything you are hearing, you have to understand it is other way around. What looks like terrible, it's not really terrible. It's horrible. Not horrible, horrible. So Kaikeyi said, Parina rajahi nidanishi hetu jana jagadishu Ram Ram rati bhor kiya kahaina maramu mahishu. O Sumantra, this king did not sleep all night. God alone knows what the cause. All through the night he has been simply saying Ram, 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 Ram. And now morning has come and the king is not expressing himself. What is the trouble? Anahu Rama hi begi bolai, samachar tab poochehu ai. Bring Rama quickly. And then you will know all the further details about what has happened. Sumantra looked at the king Dasharatha for his permission. Dasharatha didn't say anything, but made some gesture that yes, bring. Sumantra, he has good experience of life and politics. So he knew something. This Kaikeyi has contrived some evil design. Soch vikala mag parai na pau, Ram hi boli kahi karau. Sumantra's mind is overwhelmed with a lot of stress, suspense. He is unable to tread the path in a normal way. He moves on with tilmil. Put sesame oil on your feet and move on a smooth place. Then we will know how he was moving. All the while he was thinking, what is King Dasharatha going to say to Rama? Somehow, summoning some courage within his heart, he went to get Rama. On his way, people found him sad. And they started asking, what has happened? They are all expecting Rama's coronation and they are all waiting for a tremendous festivity. Samadhanu karis jo so sabahi ka, gayau jahan din kar kulati ka. Sumantra, well expert in dealing with people, gave some answer to all those people, made them calm, and went to where Sri Rama was. The glory of the line of solar rays. Whenever solar rays and glory, you must understand it points to Uttarayana Marg, the northern path. And the glory of the northern path is the goal, which is allegorically described as the absolute sun, Surya, Aditya. When Sri Rama saw Sumantra, he reverenced Sumantra as if he would reverence his own father with great courtesy. निरखी बदनु कपि कही भूप रजाई रघुकुल दीप ही चले उलेवाई राम को भांति सचिव संग जाही देखी लोग जहाँ तहाँ बिलखाही. Sumitra looked at Sri Rama and spoke of the command he had received from his father. His father didn't say it, but Kaikeyi voiced whatever Kaikeyi had said, and that was, again, Sumantra has understood that the king is in agreement with it. In brief, king's order was conveyed to Rama. And Rama accompanied Sumantra. Sumantra, the minister, and Rama, both going towards where King Dasharatha was. But the way they were going was totally shocking. Rama would have been, with great elegance, taken to the royal palace. But here, sad-faced Sumantra, keeping Rama behind him, taking him. All people are shocked. What has happened? Jai Digha Raghu Vansamani Narapati Nipat Nikah Kusaju Sahame Pareu Laki Singhini Manahu Briddha Gajaraju. And at this stage of the story, things are speeded up. Rama is already now in Kopagriha, where Kaikeyi and Dasharatha both are there. Sri Rama sees the king in such miserable state. And poetically described, just like a very powerful king, powerful elephant, king of elephants, old, has been attacked by a lioness. And the elephant has fallen down. Prakriti agrees with it. See, Prakriti celebrated it. See, all matching is done, it's in a divine way. सुखहि अधर जरई सबु अंगु मनहु दीन मनहीन भुवंगु स्वरूप समीप देखि कैकेयी मानहु मीचु घरी गनि लेई. Lips of the king are dried up. His whole body is burning, as if the old special type of snake that holds a kind of a jewel into its head. has been separated from that jewel. And is just waiting to die. And there was near King Dasharatha, Kaikeyi, very embodiment of anger. As if death is waiting upon King Dasharatha, waiting for his departure. Waiting with one of those modern equipments, watching the time. See, Manu Michu Ghari Ginale, says Ghari. The last seconds she is watching for the departure of the king. Karunamaya mridu rama subhau, prathama dikha dukha suna nakau. Sri Rama, whose nature is very gentle and who is full of compassion, in his life never was this type of tragic situation. First time he sees this tragic development. Yet without being shaken, with immense patience in his heart, with soft words he asked Kaikeyi, in a storyline, you are hearing what you are hearing, philosophy line, Rama has come to that stage of maturity where pain becomes his target. He sees the world presenting to him the very spirit of pain in the form of what is here he sees, Kaikeyi, Dasharatha. Try to understand that point. When that happens, a mind comes to understand the world is nothing but pain, but in a mature way. Then you have gained Chatvari Arya Satyani. There are 4 noble truths. The king is afflicted with grief because he is so attached to you. It is forgotten he belongs to the line of Raghus. Words are more important than life. So what he is suffering from is the disease of moha. Sutta sanehu it bachanut sankata pare unareshu sakahuta ayasu dharahu sir metahu kathina kaleshu. On one side, he has this deluded love for his son. On the other side, he has granted the boon. He has given word. Now, he is looking at his both hands. Should he give the word or should he stay with Rama? Attachment to Rama, or Rama goes to forest, between 2 choices. And O Rama, you are the one to resolve this problem for the king. So do it. Follow the boon he has granted me and rid the king of his suffering. निधरक बैठ कहई कटुबानी सुनत कठिनता अति अकुलानी. And while Kaikeyi was conveying to Rama, she sat up in an arrogant way, showing her strength. She is getting more and more energy. Her tongue is the bow. The words are coming, they are sharp arrows coming out of her tongue. And the king, the dear, is the target. जनु कठोर पनु धरे शरीरु सिखाई धनुष विद्या वर वीरु. Cruelty has itself become a hero in the battle. The real hero is not cruelty, but here cruelty itself has become a hero, and that cruelty is practicing target lessons, and has chosen Dasharatha as the best learning stage, because Dasharatha is easy target. मन मुस्काई भानु कुल भानु रामु सहज आनंद निधानु. Rama, who is the son of solar rays, implying Rama is the goal of Uttarayana path, the solar process, and who is abode of joy, Sahaj Anand. That Rama internally smiled. You didn't see it in his mouth at this stage. Free of all limitations and restrictions, he spoke words extremely gentle and beautiful. Sunu janani soi sutta barabhagi, yo pitu matu bachana anuragi. O mother, that son is most fortunate who gets the opportunity to follow commands of the parents. Called Ajñakari. Whatever parents instruct, if a child follows with the understanding, Matridevo Bhava, mother God is God, father is God, and in that setting, the conduct of the son becomes very auspicious. So, I am indeed very fortunate that both of you have chosen me to do something that I have not yet heard. Tanay matu pitutosha nihara, durlabha janani sakala sangsara. In this vast world, O Mother, rare are the souls that fulfill and bring satisfaction to the parents. Rama is speaking Upanishadic language. This soul that is moving towards God realization, that soul gives the real fulfillment to the mother and to the father. And that type of soul is rare. It's not out of thousands you find a few interested in spirituality. Munigana milanu visheshaban sabahi bhati hitamor tehi mahapitu ayasu bahuri sammata janani tor. At this stage, Rama has heard that he has been by King Dasharatha's command, he should go to forest for 14 years. And Rama says, it's a wonderful thing. First wonderful, both of you are in agreement. Second wonderful, instead of this political pressure, I will have satsanga. And satsanga from a source where there are so many sages, and I will have association with them. Munigana milanu visheshaban sabahi bhati hitamor. I will meet sages and saints. I will have utmost joy in every way possible. And to this, adding to this, your order, Father's order. Everything is in order. All ducks together. Bharatu prana piye pavahi raju, vidhi sab vidhi mohi sanmukha aju. And adding to all this, Bharat, who is prana priya, as dear as my very life, he is going to be the king. God has become favorable to me from every angle. Jo na jaun ban aise hu kaja. In this wondrous opportunity, if I don't take advantage of it, if I don't go to the forest, pratham ganiye mohi moodha samaja, I will be considered the head of the Dalwits. Se wahi anrad kalapataru tyagi, pariham hari amrita lehi vishumagi. A farmer is given choice. Take care of this castor oil tree, or take care of this kalpaka tree that fulfills all desires. Two choices are there. And the farmer will choose the castor oil, leave the kalpataru, the divine tree that grants all your wishes. How stupid the farmer will be. Rama gives that illustration. And how foolish it would be to run away from nectar and go after poison. तेउ न पाई अस सबौ चुकाही, देखु विचारे मातु मन माही. Oh mother, think of it. Even the dullest, the most terribly foolish person will not choose poison over nectar, or castor oil plant over kalpaka tree. In other words, Rama makes it very light. And this shocks Kaikeyi's mind. Amba ek dukh mohi visekhi, nipat bikal nar nayak udekhi. The only thing that distresses me is to see Father, King Dasharatha in this state of agitation and grief. थोड़ी ही बात पितही दुख भारी, होती प्रतीति न मोहि महतारी. For this such simple little thing, my father is in such great grief. I can't believe it. That's again subtle point. When spiritual teachers have problem, teacher who has understood the whole world is little. Enlightenment is the only purpose of your life. Little has to be given up. In other words, all the grief of King Dasharatha relates to the world that is little. And yet, giving up this little for the sake of the infinite human mind can't handle it. Truth is so bright. It's just like one side, you have a few shadows put together, pictures of sunrise with a few shadows under closed door. On the other side, sun is shining. How to convince a person, get away from this, look at this sun. That's the problem with the teacher. The task seems such a simple thing, but it is not. Life has to be led with integral yoga, with great persistence and patience. But the ultimate understanding of the goal is very simple. On one side, you have to give up all illusions. And giving up illusions is giving up little. Staying with illusions is staying with little. Attaining enlightenment beyond all imaginations. If you put together your aspirations of thousands of lives, that will not still match up with the real attainment. So Rama gives that type of a statement. For such a little thing, king is so much in grief, I can't believe it. Raudhir gun adidhi agadhu, bhamohite kachu bada aparadhu. King is very virtuous, ocean of virtue, and with immense patience. Surely I have committed something wrong that the king is in this state. And the king is not speaking to me. So, swearing by my own name, O mother, tell me the truth. Subtle point behind it. Rama is making this whole thing something like a kid stuff. The message behind you is to allow your mind to understand what seems such impossible task and very challenging process. There is a higher state of mind that looks it as a childish task. सहज सरल रघुवर बचन कुमति कुटिल करी जान चलई जोंक जल बक्र गति यद्यपि सलिलु मसा समान. Though Rama spoke directly without any distortion in his words, truthfully, Kaikeyi could not accept it. She was very careful that what type of trick Rama is playing. And poetically, the example is given of a leech that comes into the water but will not go straight. It goes always crooked. So that was the type of understanding in Kaikeyi, moving crooked, being too much careful. But that again, that's the quality of vichar. Vichar cannot deviate from its process. It's pure mathematics. हरसी रानी राम रुख पाई बोली कपट स्नेह जनाई. And finally Kaikeyi, seeing that Rama has agreed, she felt happy. However, pretending to be very affectionate, she said, सपत तुम्हार भरत कै आना हेतु न दूसर मैं कछु जाना. Swearing by your own name, तुम्हारी शपथ, and in the name of Bharata, my own son. The king doesn't have any other cause for suffering. Your suffering is only because you are going away. You have not committed any crime. तुम अपराध जोग न चाहता जननी जनक बंधु सुखदाता. O child, it's not possible for you to do anything wrong. राम सत्य सब तुम जो कछु कहू तुम पितु मातु बचन रत आहू. O Rama, whatever you are saying is perfectly true. you are ever ready to follow the words, the commands of your parents. पिता ही बुझाई कहूँ बलि सोई, चौथे पन जही अजसु न होई. I plead with you that try to make your father understand that in this age, in this declining age, he should not do something that will spoil his fame and name. The virtue that enabled him to become the father of son like you, that virtue should not be defaulted. लागहि कुमुख बचन शुभ कैसे, मगह गयादिक तीरथ जैसे. All these words coming from Kaikeyi, they seem like pilgrimage centers, but not the popular ones. Those centers that have a negative outlook. There are some places called Magad, and in Gaya there is another place. According to the Hindu tradition, people, they love Kashi, but they hate Magad. Going to Magad is considered bad. It is a negative pilgrimage. One is positive, sacred. Another one is one to be avoided. Well, moving on to deeper understanding, you don't go to pilgrimage centers for external comfort and joy. Pilgrimage centers, if you go with right attitude, all pilgrimage centers are alike. Going to another level, what masses go after, pilgrimage centers that are going to promise all worldly enjoyments, contrasted from those centers that will strip you of all your enjoyment. But that center that strips you of all enjoyment is paving the way to your liberation. Kabira, in one of his songs, he says, "May I die in Magad." राम ही मात बचन सब भाए, जिम सुर सरिगत सलिल सुहाए. To Sri Rama, all the words coming from Kaikeyi's mouth appeared wonderful, like river. All things that come to Ganges become beautiful. So all that came through Kaikeyi and Rama is Ganges, receives it. And all that has come to Rama has become beautiful. Gai muricha Rama hi sumairi, nipa phiri kar wataleen, sachiva Rama agaman kahi, vinay samay samakeen. King Dasharatha was unconscious, had fainted away. But now, at this stage, he comes to consciousness. And he utters Ram, Ram. And changes his side. And minister tells King Dasharatha, that Rama has come. So I will have to leave you with suspense. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukma Bandhana Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Shri Ramaya Namah.